Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. Your host, Eddie Arnell, my man, Mr. J. Lou.
Yes, sir. J. Lou? What's going on, baby? Tighten up.
Tighten up, man. G Will be joining us in a minute. But J. Lou, man, here we are, man. Week number 8 for the Tennessee Titans. One more week for the trade deadline. Could be some moves and shakers. We'll talk about that in a minute, man. But this is crazy, J. Lou. We kind of was talking about this this weekend, man. I want to bring it up, man, because it's just crazy the stats that this team has, and they're 1-6, bro.
Yeah.
So one of the best separation rates for receivers in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you know we've complained. I'm gonna say complain because we have a lot about receivers not being able to get open.
Yep.
But they can get open.
They can get open.
The stats don't lie.
Nope.
Right.
Not that one.
Since week 4 of this year, the fewest sacks given up.
And only gave
since week 4.
One today, if I'm not mistaken.
One today, yeah. And I think I see G without. I'm gonna bring on here just a second. And then number 1 total defense.
Yes.
You know
yes.
Number 1 total defense. But here's the problem. Here's G Wit, man. Welcome, G Wit. Welcome to the show tonight, man.
What's happening?
And so, G Wit, we're just talking about some crazy numbers, man. So, mentioning to J. Lou, we're talking about the separation rate for the receivers, the fewest sacks since week 4, number 1 in total defense. These numbers just don't add up. They don't add up. They don't. But here's the telltale. Minus 11 in turnover differential. There's the key. Yeah. There's one of the keys right there. You know, 17 total turnovers as a team, 11 interceptions, 6 fumbles, and the defense is only taking the ball away 3 times, 3 for each interception and fumbles. So, fellas, I can understand now why Callie scratches his head and looks all confused because the numbers just don't add up.
Yeah,
for this football team, it doesn't.
Yeah.
If you told me at the beginning of the year that these numbers were going to be through week 8, I'm like, man, we probably about 6-2, 7-1, maybe
5
without counting the turnovers in that mix, right? Without counting the turnovers. But results: Titans 20, Pats 17 overtime today at Nissan Stadium. J. Lou, your assessment, man, of today's game.
So the first voice I heard in my head was G Witts, even though I didn't talk to him at the game, because he's been harping on this team all year long as a team that doesn't know how to win or can't close out. And I'll be honest, today I thought you saw a team take a step in that right direction on winning, because there were several plays that you could point to in this game that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, beginning of the season would have been a loss. The interception in the end zone. The letting him run around for the second longest play besides the Hail Mary last week to score. And then I just knew, I mean, as a Titans fan with PTSD, you just knew, even though we won the coin toss, somehow we would go 3 and out. But you saw the bad snap fumble. We end up getting that. You kick the 3, and then your defense continued to find a way to hold. So you saw growth that we have struggled with this year, where they played sloppy complimentary football is the best way I put it. The defense could have cleaned up some things. Offense definitely could have cleaned up some things. Special teams started the game off with a penalty. So, I mean, that was
I know you love that part,
you know, I yelled his name as soon as I heard the penalty. I said, Colt, what are you doing? But I thought you saw a young team that, as G Wood has said, finally found a way to win. A game that, you know, should have been out of hand. We've seen the Titans lose plenty of games like this year already, but they found a way to really come through and win. I thought, you know, as much as I gave him grief today for Calvin Ridley, we talked about him in my section, he drops the easy balls. It's the difficult ones that he had, like he makes them look routine. But and I will say this, he took some shots today and kept coming back in. So I'm just glad to see him on that. Tony Pollard is this team's MVP through 8 weeks. We've said it. I mean, he finally cracked 100 rushing, I think, today. I know he's about 150 from scrimmage, but it was good to see this team finally figure out a way to not continue to shoot themselves in the foot and be like, oh gosh, here we go again. I mean, we scored 10 points in the fourth quarter in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the touchdown was in the fourth quarter. So good to see that. And again, it's a lot easier to clean up tape and work on things, I think, after a win, when you can say, okay, we did this and still got a win, as opposed to losing 3-4 in a row. And the last 2 weeks, just be honest, we got your doors blown off the last 2 weeks. But it was a good testament for a young team that's in a rebuild to get a win. Well, let's just be honest, a lot of guys playing on defense that we didn't talk about in August. No, at all. That was my assessment today, where you finally saw, it was good I think for this coaching staff to really be able to make some adjustments. We saw them make the adjustments, and you hung in there and you poured out a victory.
Go ahead, G Witt. Your thoughts, man.
Okay. Really, I would say the tale of two different situations. Yeah, they won. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy about that. But that sequence right before halftime, that last drive, I was like, and again, like you said, J. Lou, they found a way to win. They found a way to overcome those mistakes, because that was just pure coaching with the play calling and everything. But then you see them win the toss at halftime and take the ball right down the field. Not only take the ball down the field, but actually eat up clock. Yeah. And I thought the play calling was great until the last play call, when they fumbled the snap.
Yes.
Eddie was up in the stand. He's like, what is this formation he's trying to run? He's always trying to be cute.
Yep.
And then, I thought he got bailed out when the Patriots called timeout.
Yes.
I'm like, well, maybe he's going to change it
again. Came right back out in
it. Fumbled the snap. Thank goodness Rudolph recovered it, and we kicked the field goal. And I was really concerned about the defense because, again, I thought they did well, and it drove me crazy on that last play in regulation that they could not get Drake May down.
No.
I mean, it just drove me nuts. I'm like, tackle the man.
Yeah.
But overall, like you said, it's a good win for a young team. We'll see how it takes over, how it continues on next week, if they can continue with that momentum. Not necessarily talking about wins, but I'm just talking about playing a complete game.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, trying to see where they can move forward from here. But overall, I give them kudos. I thought the defense played good, really, up until there was that one drive in the second half where they kept getting the penalties, which some of them I was like,
Man.
okay. But typical of losing teams, those are the type of calls you get.
You don't get, yep.
But overall, I thought, the one thing I did notice that I thought was good, I don't know why he was doing it, but it was still good. He was he had one of the two in. He had either both in at the same time, or he was playing Sweat without Simmons, or Simmons without Sweat. And I'm like, he finally
did it.
There.
Yes.
Because I know they need the rest, but don't take them both out of the same. Although he still did that. And of course, he still put your boy Harold Landry in coverage, but
y'all probably heard me yelling at that one too.
That might have been the easiest out route completion
ever.
I'm like, this is such a mismatch right here.
Like, that just ain't gonna work. But overall, it's a good win. I'm glad to see him win. I'm glad to see him pull it out. And like you said, there was a lot of plays, a lot of things in there over the past 2 months that would have just absolutely destroyed them. And they would not have won the game. But you saw them keep resilient and keep fighting and pull out a win today. So, kudos to the coaching staff and the players. I thought Callahan did a good job adjusting in the second half.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was surprised.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I was surprised, and he did some in-game adjustments, in the second half that I was kind of surprised by. But overall, good win.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna throw some more stats out real quick. We got a lot of comments. I want to get to them too. So first home win, we heard this on the radio. First home win in 10 months. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That just blows my mind. 3 times in the first half, we left points on the table.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we started a drive on the 40-yard line or better.
Yep.
One time we was inside the 30 of the Patriots after the turnover, and we throw a pick. Right? On a hot heater that he threw the chick. Look, J. Lou was ready to fire Chick. I said,
No,
I said it was a high ball.
it was a high ball, and it was hot.
Right. And I said, just save it this time.
I heard a receiver that I trust in Kevin Dyson say that was 70% on the receiver too, because you got to bail your QB out.
He should know. He should know,
Well,
right?
this is the one thing that Dyson pointed out, and I'd have to go back and look. He said even though it was high, and he was like, "I understand, Chig, because when you down in the goal line going across on those slants, you know you're gonna get hit." He said, "But if you watch the play, Chig head never came up; it stayed down, bracing for the hit." Yeah. And he was like, his hands was just in the place where you assumed it was gonna be, and why it was hot like that. But I was ready to keep him. He made up for it later on.
Yeah, it was a hot heater on the throw. And I was like, ooh, that's not going to end well.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say this too, man, and I'm going to let y'all think about it. We don't have to discuss it now. We'll come back to it later on the show. I believe last week, even though they got blew out, it unlocked Ridley. Because he looked different today. The offense looked different today. The play calling was different today. Just keep that in mind. We'll come back to that in a minute. But let's get some more comments, man. Thank y'all for coming on tonight and joining us, man, because they be coming fast, hot, and heavy. Now, we've heard Cushenberry is out with an Achilles, right?
Yes.
So one of the questions,
Achilles.
one of the questions I think it was Nathan that said, do we slide over Brunskill to center when Dylan gets back?
Yes.
I thought Brunskill did good today, right, guard?
Yeah.
Core 11?
If Dylan can go next week, then Brunskill is your backup center.
Yep.
And I don't know if y'all noticed it, and it could be something with the blocking scheme from a run play to a pass. Every run play that was out of the shotgun, the snap was high. He had no problem with pass plays. But every single run, to the point I was yelling with my guys around me, just get under center at this point and hand the ball off.
Right. That's exactly what I was saying too, man. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the thing about it, man. Because we were sitting up there and I was like, when Cushenberry went down, he runs over with Levin. He's practicing the snap and everything. Then you get on the field in the first play, you in the shotgun. I'm like, dude, if you've been practicing under center, at least on the first play, get up on the center. You know,
exactly.
And Eddie was like, every snap in the shotgun is high.
Every snap was high. And to your point, it was every run play.
Every run play. Every run play was thrown off because they were so high.
I was like, a good defensive coordinator would have picked that up.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's easy to see it from the stands. But yeah, and so we got some dynamics there. We got Cushenberry out now. We got Brunskill, but I think we're in a better position than we would have been here, a couple seasons ago or last year. But the offense today, man, G Witt, let's talk about them because we kind of talked about the red zone inefficiencies today, and I think they were 2 for 4 or 2 for 6 or something like that. I saw.
Yeah. Good.
And 7 for 16 on third down, which is not bad, right? And so talk to me about the offense today, man.
Well, again, like I said, with the way they've been playing, I went into this game. I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus in on a certain group and just try to see how we're doing. I focused in on the offensive line. First of all, obviously today was a day for tryouts at right tackle.
I don't understand
because I've never seen that before, where you swapping per series. Usually that happens in the preseason, but overall, I thought the offensive line. I was just checking them out. I thought the run blocking and the pass protection was really good. Eddie pointed out where Skoronski on one blitz just caught the guy and just ran up to the side and allowed Rudolph to sidestep him, throw a nice pass. I think that was the one to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, that was nice. The one across the middle, he got hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I thought that's the main thing I focused on. I was surprised that oh God, his name escapes me for some reason. 83.
Tyler Boyd.
I was surprised he wasn't used as much.
See, he was questionable coming into the game, so I wonder if that played a part in it.
It could have, but overall, again, it's good to see them taking advantage of the tight ends. I thought that was good. Running, of course, Tony Pollard, man's got feet. I just got to give him his props. He's got feet. I mean, that joke was making some runs. I was trying to figure out how he got 5 yards out of him. And on that last drive, he had a couple opportunities. He was just one tackle away from breaking it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he did good. I think I'll be glad to see when Tajay Spears come back.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a real good complement to what Tony Pollard does. Because Julius Chestnut, he's a good back, but he's more north and south. He doesn't have really good feet. But overall, man, I thought the offense, with the exception of like I said, that last drive under 2 minutes in the first half, that about drove me crazy. I'm like, dude, what kind of plays are you calling?
Yeah.
and Callahan has to get out of this this tendency of when things are going good, I got to throw in a cute play to see if I can catch somebody off guard. Quit throwing in the cute plays. Just call the plays and let them go, because today I thought he got into a good rhythm. I thought Rudolph had a good rhythm throwing the ball. And again, like I said, I thought the offensive line did a great job. Yeah, they had some hiccups and everything. I thought Levin got blowed up a couple of times, but other than that, I thought really the offensive line did a great job. And that was the main group I was focusing on today more than anybody else. So I really thought the offensive line did good. I just wanted to see their improvement. I thought it was really good. And I thought even with the two rotating the right tackles, I thought they still did a good job.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure why they did that. I thought Watson was doing well. Even Njoku was doing well also. Let's get some of these comments in, Jay Lou. I'll come to you on the offensive side of the ball, man. Let me go back because they've been coming. Can we give NWI some love, man? That's what Eddie Gray say, man. You got to, man. Mr. Reliable, Mr. catches everything that throws his way. Everything. I mean, really. He catches everything. Virgin Mosley, man, he said NWI good hands, man. Appreciate y'all with your comments tonight, man. Thank y'all for coming out. Will says Ridley was wide open on that interception on 3rd and goal. He was, and it was a tight window. He would have had to throw it on time because I saw he went across the back of the end zone, and so it would have been a tough throw, but he could have made it. They didn't want to kick before halftime. Didn't want to punt. So yeah, you see what Rang said there. But yeah, offense, J. Lou. Let's talk about it. Because Deion says he took his advice, Callahan, for the second half and said he needs to turn the offense over to the OC so he can concentrate on managing the game as a rookie OC.
No, I 1000% agree. He mentioned something similar to that where he was asked after the game if he thought about going for it, and he said he did until at the end of the game. He said he did until the fumble snap. And he said they got on a headset and he had the green light to go from his numbers guys and all his folks if he wanted to, but he chose to kick the 3 because he knew, if you be honest, 10 minutes is quick in the overtime, and they had a nice drive.
They had a really good drive.
And with New England having to burn both timeouts on defense, you knew you had to make them drive to score. But from an offensive standpoint, first, I will say this, that left side of your offensive line is getting nasty. I don't know how many people saw it, but there was one hit that was put on Rudolph that if he was Pat Mahomes would have been a roughing.
Nathan said right there. Yeah,
it would have been a roughing. And you saw
that's what I said too.
You saw J.C. Latham. They let him get away with one because I thought he got away with a punch.
He did.
He did get away with a punch.
Yeah. But you like to see that from your
absolutely.
You saw Peter again, 77. When these guys are pulling, the best pull was, I don't know if it was the touchdown drive or if it was the overtime drive, but when Njoku 61 was eligible and pulling.
Oh yeah.
He cleaned up folks several times. So again, we've been mentioning that this offensive, they're only getting better, especially in run blocking. You like to see. I thought, to your point, Rudolph had a good pocket today and good pocket awareness. And again, you're seeing the throws be a little bit better on time. NWI, you mentioned it. NWI is great because you don't need him to be your number one. You got Calvin Ridley out there that's drawing the attention, and NWI is doing what he's doing. He's making plays one-on-one when he's supposed to. The tight ends, I'll say this. I don't think the tight ends dropped the ball today that I can recall. Outside of the tip for the pick, outside of that, I thought they did a great job of moving the chains, all three, when they were involved. And then I agree with you, G-Wit. Chestnut did good today. I thought he did well, but to your point, it's not the same from a complimentary standpoint that was there. But yeah, I will agree that we've got to, when you get in a rhythm, hey, he needs to have that little person on his shoulder to say, nope, slap his hand when he want to go to the cute page of the playbook just because things have been working. But this is 2 weeks in a row. You take last week's first half, and then for the most part, this game, they got into a rhythm and were able to move the ball. I was a little worried that, again, I'm one that does not mind the passing because you've got to open up. That's the NFL. But at the end of the day, you still got to be able to run the ball. And there was a little concern at halftime. I think we had either 19 or 20 passes, and Pollard only had like 10 carries, but he was averaging 6.5 yards a carry. So you just wasn't going enough. And again, it wasn't like the first half got away from you. But overall, like I said, I'm glad to see them protect the ball. I mean, the one turnover got by with the fumble. And we are fumbling a little bit too much, whether it be special teams, wide receivers, anybody. Gotta protect the ball a little bit more. But I thought overall, nobody's gonna point out the improvements the offensive line is making until you really just go back and watch it. And again, one sack today? Yes, they had some pressures, and I agree. There was 2 plays near that fourth quarter and overtime. I was like, oh, if Kush was in there, he don't get blown up. Because again, Corey, you're coming off the bench and just going straight in. I think you could clean it up this week when you get a full week knowing that you got to go with a different center. But overall, I thought the offense did well and managed a good game in order to pull out victory. And we finally scored more than 17 points at home.
Yeah. That's the other thing. That's crazy. 38, almost 39 minutes of time possession today, man. That's the run game in particular. 28 carries for Pollard today for 128. 20 to 33 for Mason today, 233, 2 touchdowns. My only other question, of course, Ridley, 5 for 73. NWI, he catches everything. We've mentioned that, 5 for 50 and a 1 touchdown. But net, 2 for 33 and a touchdown. Yeah. Why are we not getting the ball to Wiley enough? Especially in the red zone.
In the red zone,
he got a 6'6" tight, 6'7". No, he's 6'8". Tight
yes. I don't understand that. When you using him more as your inline blocking than you should be to go out and catch some pass, especially from 7 yards in.
Right. Yeah, right. Eddie Gray said we should really be using play action a lot more than we are right now. Facts, man. The run agree. Game is lethal, and it's almost there because of concern about how well Pollard tossed it. Right, that's right. I mean, the run game is. I don't know if anybody thought it was going to be as good as it is. I mean, let's just talk about it for real.
Right.
I mean, because really, Pollard, Spears, and the importance of Spears being at number 2, he's got to get back, get healthy, man. Because like you said, I agree. Chestnut is more of a downhill guy. He's not going to be a lot of shift. He's going to run you over, right? One step and go.
Yeah.
So he needs that be that number 2. But you see, James said, I'm not sure if y'all are saying this. Let me get that up there for y'all to see it. But Mason Rudolph is a starter going forward. I was going to bring that question up, guys. What do you think? What do y'all think? If Will can play next week, does he play?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I think Mason only really won you one game. I mean, technically the Miami game, he came in and won, but today was his best game he had. So Mason hasn't done anything to take Will Levis's job, especially when you say
I can agree with that.
You want to keep giving Will a chance to. Yeah. You got to evaluate him. So I think if he can play next week. Now, I think the leash is shorter.
It's way shorter.
Way shorter than it was game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I think overall you give him opportunity to play when he's healthy.
Eddie Gray says the NWI reminds him of Justin McCarron's. That's a great comparison. Legit comparison. Number 2.
Yep.
Number 2. Yeah, so the offense, I mean, again, just the numbers, guys. This don't match up today. But today they match up because we won, right? 400 yards of offense. This offense, we can say this for sure. This offense is constantly putting up over 300 yards. I mean, week in and week out. Maybe a couple of times they didn't reach that mark, man. But 400s today, a lot on the ground, through the air, only 1 sack, 6.9 yards every pass, 5.5 yards a play. I mean, that's a first down every 2 plays. Yeah. So, I mean, when you stand in front of the sticks like that, not playing behind the sticks, man, it just makes for an easier day. You got to cut out the penalties, done. We'll talk about that in a minute because a lot of that was on the defensive side of the ball today. Any word on Diggs as we transfer over to? I know that Callie said it doesn't look good for him either.
Yeah, I think
it's like Cushenberry. He might have an Achilles because his foot looked kind of messed up.
I was going to say his foot. I would think both of them are hitting the IR as season-ending injuries.
Yeah, it was bad to see, and he was making a tackle on the play when he got hurt.
If his is Achilles,
he's done.
Then I'm curious because again, his was just a simple tackle, and then whatchamacallit was a simple move. But how much of it is going to come back to turf? Because we've heard players complain about, and the Titans play with that coconut infused different type turf. You don't know how much give is in. I mean, the one thing that's what we talked about in the stands today. You can't tell that another game was played on that field no more because TSU played yesterday. But the upkeep and all, you still just don't know with that turf how the players complain about that the grip.
I was about to say, you saw some slips today. You saw Jackson slip on the punt return. You saw a few times people slipping. So again, that's to your point. You just don't know what they're doing to treat the field and keep it in a good position. Now, as we talk about defense, J. Lou, and Nathan says Brown filled in pretty good for Dix. I thought he did too. He made a few plays and he was out of position a couple times. But he's becoming a starter. If he is going to be the starter, they can work on that. Now, what is the problem with Jerome Baker? Can somebody answer that for me? Anybody in the chat know anything about Jerome Baker? He was dressed today, didn't even play.
I like that one. I didn't realize he was dressing to me. You was chatting. And you told me what number he was, and I was like, wait a minute. Why is Gibby still in it? Because again, we know Gibby can tackle. We've all seen it. We know Gibby is a smart player. Gibby's just a liability because there's no speed there.
Well, here's the other problem too. So here's the other problem, and it really stuck out to me today. And I was like, okay, what is it about Gibby that's so fascinating to these coaches? Yeah, he's smart. I give him that. He can call the defense. You can see him checking and changing stuff. But his angles are not that good.
Oh, no.
He takes bad angles. Look, Dion don't even know who Jerome Baker is. Jerome Baker is the linebacker we traded Ernest Jones for from the Seahawks. That was the original guy they wanted during free agency, but he signed with Seattle. So now they got him here and he played in 2 weeks.
Nope.
So I'm interested to see where he is and what's going on. That makes sense.
It makes no sense.
You could tell with the linebacker play that you really miss Ernest Jones right now.
Yes.
You could tell.
Yeah.
And they have got Gibby, like you say, he's smart. He can diagnose a play and everything, but he's slow and he takes poor angles.
Boy.
There's
oh my God.
There's a couple plays I'm looking at like, dude, you're supposed to clean that play up and you just whiffed on the whole thing.
It's like I can't even explain it because it's like he's running to the ball and then all of a sudden he just takes like a sidestep, like he don't want no contact.
Yeah.
Like, you're a linebacker. You got to be.
I think it's more, since you mentioned that, I think it's more he's anticipating a move and trying to be there, and it's not working that way instead of just going directly for the man.
Yeah. So. But anyway, J. Lou, man, talk about the defense, brother, because Jerome Baker, now we lost Diggs. When is Snead coming back? When is the window open for Cheeto?
I mean, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Because the one thing you've got to love, and now today we saw it a little bit more because I think he had about 3 or 4 penalties.
He did, but you love it.
But Brownlee has gotten some great playing, like. We're going to look up in 3 years if he stays on his trajectory and say, we stole us one in the draft. When you got a starting corner who's a 5th-round pick. Now, he had an interception that, it hit him right in the hand. That's probably why he played DB. But, you love the physicality from him. And then, is it Baker Jr. on the opposite side?
Yes.
Think about it. We actually have went 3 weeks, because this is Snead's 3rd game. We went 3 weeks in a row, and you've left Rod. I think it was Dion or somebody a couple weeks ago said they haven't heard Rodgers' name all year long. You're not going to keep hearing Rodgers' name because he's killing on the slot. Yeah. Like, he is shutting the slot down. He's doing good blitz. He's doing nothing but tackling. I think they did a phenomenal job. They got beat on one of those little quick out slants to the quick out screens today. Other than that, they're in the receiver's face when those plays are not working. So I really thought, and again, I'll give Amani Hooker his due. Amani Hooker is probably going to be a victim of being in Nashville because he's really playing at an all-pro level in safety when you sit back and really think about what he's doing. Somebody put in there, Arden Keys unlocked. Nathan put Arden Keys unlocked. Yeah, Arden Key he put some film on tape because
his resume.
Again, he's working on his resume.
You glad to finally see them come around and strip sack. I thought the D-line, Sebastian Day is quietly playing good as well. And even 97, what's my guy?
Lynch.
Lynch is doing a good job when he's spelling. So I thought the defense played well. Now, the one thing that we've got to see Denard alter and change a little bit is from an adjustment standpoint. We never put a spy or did something different to
somebody
contain.
mentioned that in the chat. Yeah,
and he was killing us at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he took a 2nd and 15 and he got 20 yards. So I think that's the one thing that we've got to adjust is when you playing these mobile type quarterbacks. But I thought they did a good job pressuring and making May look like he's a rookie. And throw it to you. So and
glad to see that.
And tackling I thought was a little better from a pursuit standpoint. Still missing too many tackles. But I think from a pursuit standpoint, we got to be better.
Got to be better, man. Got to be better. What about you, G Witt?
Well, I concur with J. Lou. I thought the defense played pretty good. Again, the penalties were upsetting to me because of especially so much to the point to where it was about where they came.
Right.
You know, we have 3rd and long. We shut them down. You get a penalty.
Right.
You know,
right.
That bogus call they called on Brownlee in the end zone. Well, it was a bunch. I don't understand that one. But again, he's a rookie. We're a losing team. Those calls generally go against us when you got somebody playing physical like that. But to go along, I thought the pass rush was good. Thought the run stoppage was good. The thing I'm really impressed with, and to go back to something that J. Lou mentioned, the fact that you have your top 2 corners are out the game, and still this secondary is shutting people down.
Right.
You know,
right.
And I just that I'm impressed with totally. I thought Brownlee has come along great. Yeah, and again he gets those unfortunate penalties, but you like his aggressiveness.
Right.
You like his physicality. His tackling is a whole lot better, and you see the guy on the other side is the same way. You like the physicality they have. They're making receivers work. They're not just giving up yardage. And when they started to give up those short passes and everything, you saw Denard adjust that. They started playing closer. So that eliminated that play. Again, I like the way, like I mentioned earlier, I like the way that Denard finally is rotating. If he's going to rest them, he's rotating Sweat and Big Jeff out for each other. They're not basically out on the same time at the same time. Again, Sebastian Joseph Day, we knew he was going to be good, but the other guys are stepping up as well. I thought Harold Landry, except for a couple of slip-ups where he lost containment, I thought he played well, and it's also Arden Key. So overall, the defense has kudos. I thought really just some of the scheme that Denard was running set him up to run into issues on on last-minute drives. Thought that last drive in the 4th quarter, he did some things that gave up a lot of yardage. That's the reason why they moved down the field so quick. Again, I thought we had him when we had him down at that 4th down and everything, but not being able to make that tackle ended up going into overtime.
Yeah.
But overall, I was fine. Like you said, finally glad to see them creating turnovers.
Yes, sir.
Getting the ball and
3 today
in a good position. So at least you have a chance to score, even if you did in the first half. We didn't take advantage of it. So overall, I just give the defense is playing solid like it has been all year, really.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, number 1 in total defense, which is amazing considering 12th against the run, 27th against the scoring. And some of that's inflated from last week, right? Because of the special teams blunders and, so. But yeah, they opened the window for Gray to come back. Guess they felt he wasn't ready just yet.
He's been activated from the 53. I mean, from that thing. So he is on the 53. He was just a healthy scratch today. I think he's about a week or 2 maybe away. Because we got to remember he didn't do nothing in the summer as well. So
he missed all the training camp. So he still got to get in shape and get ready. So somebody already mentioned in the chat. Appreciate that. Arden Key's been on like 4 sacks over the last 3 games. I mean, defending the edge. Now he did miss the sack. To your point, G Witt, on the 4th down when they scored the touchdown to tie the game. He had a clear shot. That was just tough. That was tough. Fatigue could have played a lot of factors in there because they had been rushing to pass it the whole drive, and that's a lot on the defensive lineman. The penalties, man, we've got to figure out a way. It's good to be aggressive, but boy, they come at the wrong time. They come at the wrong time. 295 yards total for the Patriots today. 2 interceptions by Hooker. Hooker's got his third. He's got 3 on the year, and 3 for the 11 on third down. Great day overall as a team win. We needed this one. And somebody, I think it was Q, man, appreciate the question. He said, "Were we upset, or is anybody upset because the Titans won today?" And I'll let y'all answer that.
No, as a fan, I mean, I know we've been on here talking about tanking it. I mean,
right.
It will work itself out. There is so you dropped from second draft pick today to 9, but there's 8 teams, I think, with only 2 wins. So it'll all continue to work itself out. You never just want to take. I mean, it felt good finally leaving the stadium with a victory. I'll say that.
And I know we on here talking about it stuff, but you gotta wonder. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you just gotta wonder, if I'm not playing Jerome Baker, why am I not playing him? So, and you can't say the schemes, because guess what? Mike McDonald, Denard Wilson, same defense last year.
Yep.
So the concept's got to be the same. I don't know. It's just, but I'm just gonna say number 1 today. That was 1. We'll see. Number 1. You get on it. Get on the G Wit. We finna go on that street. Now, special teams. J. Lou, your guy, Colt Anderson, that took over for your boy, Craig Ackerman. A penalty, you already mentioned that. Penalty on the first kickoff of the game, bro.
On a touchback. You have illegal. So you had the penalty on that. Was it a punt or something that they couldn't get lined up for? It took forever to get lined up. I don't know what. At this point, I think he's in his own head and overthinking coaching. Because I mean, now I will say, you can tell today, because like G Witt said, he watched the O-line. I watched Stonehouse a lot when he was punting. I think he's still. We've got it. It's in his head.
That's what G Witt said.
From getting his leg ripped off last year. It's in his head, because this was a day with the wind that we've seen Stonehouse be the weapon.
Right at y'all. The wind was going right towards y'all.
Right at us. Yeah. And the one right before halftime, you had the wind with you, and he rushed the punt because he was worried about getting it blocked.
Yeah. Right. He saw the rush coming, and he just went ahead and just kicked it away. So that was his main thing. Just get the ball out of here and not get hit or anything. And I saw that he did have one good one though.
Yeah.
He did have one good one. And it's amazing how that works and everything, because when you need him to punt the ball 70 yards, he's punting at 40.
right.
Yeah. Now I will say, on the flip side, New England's punter he shanked 3 of them.
But we couldn't take advantage of it. That's the problem.
We looking at that. I'm like, dude, what is going on with this guy? But yes, Stonehouse, man, it's still in his head, man. That's his problem. Still in his head.
So I'm gonna ask y'all this, because I said it in the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
New England.
He muted you.
There
you go. We got you back.
Right. So from a coaching standpoint, they made a blunder in overtime. You lost the toss as far as getting the ball, but you get to pick win.
Right.
They picked going into the win.
Don't know why.
So if you go back and look at that play, May's last throw that was an interception is a touchdown if he's going the opposite way with the wind, because the wind caught that ball and it died down. That's why they were doing that. So
Lil J. Lou is taking over the show.
Yep.
So we were talking about that too, man. Stonehouse is just rightfully so, man. The guy, it was a horrific injury. And what we don't understand either, J. Lou, is why NWI is a great receiver. He doesn't have the speed to be a gunner. I saw Gabe Judy on the sideline. Why not put him in there? You got some other guys out there.
Was my eyes deceiving me? But did Bryce Oliver gun at one time?
Bryce Oliver was on special teams
at one time,
and they also brought in Huntley this week, special ace.
Yeah, he was the guy that had the penalty.
Okay, yeah.
First play of the game. Yeah, that was what
Yeah, 26. Yeah.
But I don't get. Whoever is 57, his name escapes me.
Gifford.
So we talked about Gibby with his bad angles. Giffords is worse on punt. His angles are terrible.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Dion says if Key is making a statement to stay, why not keep him if he's balling? I'm not saying we shouldn't keep him, but he's got to continue to play like this rest of the year. So what he's reminded me of, if you guys remember when he played for San Francisco, he wasn't a starter, but he was a reserve guy. But he was causing havoc for the 49ers too when he played with them, and we saw he did some things at Jacksonville where he was causing some havoc off the edge. And so get him back to that level of play, it only will help us out going forward. So looking at the AFC South, Texans 6-3 lost to the Jets 21-13 on Thursday Night Football. The Colts played tonight against the Vikings. We went, of course, and the Jags lose again to the Eagles 28-23, dropping them to 2-7. So, hey man, a lot of football left. I say number one. That's just one. We'll see.
Hey,
we'll see.
You finally got one.
We got one. And it takes one. Like I said, man, and I'm going to go back to what I said earlier in Detroit. I believe something was unlocked, even though the game was ugly. Don't get me wrong. It was ugly. But something unlocked with Callahan and Ridley and something about the offense. Because it looked different today. It didn't look like it's looked the past few weeks.
So, might be in the minority, but you don't have D-Hop. How much? And I love D-Hop. Like I knew he was trade. I knew they would trade him, but how much of that is?
You say you love D-Hop
to know how to manage those alpha dogs like that.
Yeah,
and that is, you know, you got the one true alpha dog who, again, there was no guarantee D-Hop was here next year, and you know Ridley you signed him for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I wonder if that, to your point, was what? Oh, okay, Ridley, we committing to you. You're gonna be our alpha. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting about that because I will agree. I thought the offense overall looked better today than it has really all season. I thought, like I said, except for the times when he tried to get cute, I thought he called a pretty good game. Like I said, it's just one of them things you just got to see some consistency out of it. You know, quit running the cute plays though. You got enough good, solid offensive plays. You don't have to run cute trickery plays in the middle of the game.
And what's crazy, J. Lou, and I was telling this to G Witt, I was like, we're off the script. We're gonna play 16, and his plays are still good. We're not used to that. We used to the scripted plays being great, and then after that, it's like boo down here. But his plays after the script, they were legit plays.
I mean, it goes back to what we said. Yeah. Would you say the numbers don't lie? Separation don't lie. He's been scheming folks open. Yeah. They've been finding a way to be consistent with O-line protection and all to make it work. So,
right. Dion says, I love D-Hop, but I love I-Hop even more. I know it has nothing to do with football, but pancakes are awesome, man. No doubt, man. Appreciate that. Eddie Gray said we should be 4-4. I don't disagree with you at all.
I agree.
Disagree with you at all. And so, one last thing I forgot to mention on the defense side of the ball before we move on. For those out there, and I see it all the time, and I know y'all do too, talking about Jeffrey Simmons is not playing. He's not. Go back and watch the film from this game today.
Yes.
And how many times he has affected the quarterback. You know, he's always talking about affecting the quarterback. Now, he didn't get the sack. I know he had one today. But go back and look how many times that Drake May had to step up in the pocket. He had to rush the throw because why? Big 9-8 was out in his grill.
The first interception was on him.
Yeah.
The first interception was because of him.
Yeah. And so I'm saying, when he's not getting double teamed, he's
or held.
Oh my God.
He gets held every play. And I know he's mad because you can see it. He's going off because he gets held every play. And I just don't understand people saying that he's not playing well or he's not worth the money that they gave him. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
if you're not watching the game.
Those are the same people that said Sweat wasn't going to be any good when we drafted him.
Yeah. Yeah. Nathan, Big Jeff gets held at least 3 times out of 4 plays. And that's not being soft on that.
Of the game today, the one that broke he was held on that play.
Yeah,
taking him to the ground.
Yeah, and I know he missed that sack when May ran to the opposite sideline. He barely missed him, but yeah, he's playing well, man. I have nothing bad to say at all about his play.
Nah, man. Nah.
But as we go, man, this week got the Chargers on the road, 3:05 kickoff. tough game, West Coast time.
Get to see some old friends.
Yes, we do.
Right, Nathan. They ain't never played in the trenches or played at all. Facts, brother. Facts. I was telling G with today. I was like, man, you in them trenches. It's nasty in there. Rushing that passer like that. That'll wear you out. I know for a fact that, especially when your offense keep going 3 and out. Boy, whoo, you talking about sucking wind. But man, yeah.
How many 3 and outs did the offense have today? I don't think they had any.
They didn't have many.
I can't recall one.
I don't think they had one at all. I think I take that back. I think the only one they had, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the drive, G, what I was telling you, he was driving toward the north end zone. We took a sack, we took a delay of game, and ended up having a punt instead of trying to field goal, the long field goal with Nick Folk. Was that a 3 and out?
But that was the one where
was that was about 5 or 6 plays. It might have been more than that. It might not have been a 3 and out. But anyway, yeah, you're right. So again, and I agree with Nathan. He said he liked the vision of what he saw of the offense today and what it wants to be. And I agree, man. It's there.
One complaint with the offense.
Go ahead.
When they show the red zone highlights in the stadium of the Cincinnati Bengals game,
you saw it.
Again, I'm a man. I love shotgun.
You do.
We've got to figure out. We've got to get somebody to be his red zone specialist for him because
Chase Brown. We saw that day.
We struggled 10 yards in. And
that's what G Witt was saying. That's what G Witt was saying. Yeah.
Too much shotgun.
G Witt was saying at the game. He said, "Man, we struggle to score in the red zone."
Yeah,
we just
it's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. You got a 6'8" tight end. Throw him a jump ball at least.
A lot of it, in all honesty, to go back to Jay Lue's point, a lot of it is just his play calling.
Yeah, it is.
Because this is one thing I think as a coach he has to figure out and learn. To me, is that okay? You're 10 yards. You got first and goal from the 10. You only got 20 yards of space.
Right.
You have got to do. You can't just line up in the pistol and think that it's going to work. You're making it too easy for the defense. Right. You got to have your quarterback get under center so you got more options. And that's the problem they're running into. He's so used to having the quarterback in the pistol, 7 yards or 5 yards or whatever the case may be. Dude, you got to have him under center. And that way your play action works better and you got time enough for your players to get open.
Yeah.
The way he's running it now, it's just hard. You're just giving the defense a free pass because they can see what you're going to do.
Eddie Gray says we missed the king in that aspect. You're right, because you were able to do those wildcat jump passes because people thought he was coming down here. You could just do little stuff like that, and the defense would play into your hands. But going to the West Coast, man, they say as you will, but they pretty much beat the Browns handily today. Now, we know that they've got some issues going on. But, man, it's always a tough game going out west, especially for this franchise. For whatever reason, it's just like these numbers just don't make sense. So, keys to the game next week, Jay Lou, what you think, man? Can we get 2? We got 1. Can we get 2?
Yeah, the main key is you got to make Herbert give it to you because at the end of the day, he's still Herbert. They will want to run the ball. I mean, you got Harbaugh down there, so we know the coach from a coaching standpoint. Their defense is good against the run.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do well. So how do you counter that? Because that's what we do well as an offense. And again, it all depends on which quarterback you see. And if you do get Will back next week, what has he learned in these 4 weeks or so that he sat and had to watch?
I would hope he learns
from that standpoint. Because again, that's the one thing and again, Mason hasn't did anything to solidify being a starter. But the one thing you can see different between Mason and Will, the ball is getting to the receivers on time and in spots. And this is a timing offense, and that's what Will was missing. So if he's playing, what has he learned to do that? So, but again, I think we can get to the quarterback and make him turn it over. You give yourself a shot out there in LA.
Yeah. G, what you think, man?
Pretty much the same thing, man. I think you got a good opportunity there, but it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see because I hadn't watched the Chargers this year, so I really don't know much about them, to be totally honest. But I do know that Justin Herbert, I can't even pronounce his name. I do know he's throwing the ball well, so it's going to be interesting to see how how Denard plays against that offense and everything. You know, Jim Harbaugh, you know he wants to run the ball. They got a pretty good running game, and like Jay Lou said, they seem to be pretty good at stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see, especially if Levis plays. I'm like Jay Lou, how's the ball going to come out? How's he going to read and get rid of the ball quicker? Because again, Mason Rudolph hasn't done anything, but his veteran experience has been telling.
Mm-hmm.
To go back to the point of getting the ball out quicker. So it's going to be interesting to see if they play Will Levis next week or if he's another healthy scratch and they just elevate Trevor Siemian. Oh, I don't know what they're going to do. But that's going to be the key. Is the offense going to continue to be fluid as it was today? I thought the offense was pretty fluid today. I just thought some of the play calling was pretty bad. But they had that one trick play where they did the flea flicker. I thought on the reverse, I thought that was a great call, but it also goes to show you how well the offensive line held up on that play because that's a long development play.
That was real.
There was nobody near Rudolph when he got the ball.
No, it wasn't.
I was okay, so yeah, I'm interested to see on how the offensive line is going to play, whether they settled in on a right tackle or not.
Right.
Right. And how much is Levin going to be if he plays center or if they move Brunskill to center? That's the thing I'm curious about.
Yeah, Ryan, you're right. All those former players for the Chargers, and you're missing one. Bud Dupree is there too. By the way, I don't know if he's playing. I didn't see his name on the roster. Oh, there, yeah, he is. And you forgot Jay Lou's boy Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart, yeah, I was saying
Pop-Tart for the Chargers.
Yes, on the Chargers roster. And just looking at their roster, and the offensive line, they were having issues protecting Herbert, but they probably are gelling now. At this point of the season, they got Joe Aldridge right tackle. We can discuss that all night. Ladd McConkey, which is a good route runner, played at Georgia. Quentin Johnson. So I don't think there's a burner per se on this receiving core, but they got a good quarterback, right? And they got to run a game with J.K. Dobbins. I think we stop the run and bring pressure and don't let him beat us with his feet. We got to keep him in the pocket, just like we had today. The issue with, but if there was a time to catch that defense right now, Asante Samuel Jr. on IR, Christian Fulton is out. So they got some secondary issues. Still got Khalil Mack. Still got Joey Bosa.
Out.
Fulton's out. They're showing it right now as him out. And so there are some opportunities possibly to take advantage of their defense. But we'll see. Like I said, they played Cleveland today, went against Jameis Winston without Amari Cooper. I don't know who else they have a receiver for Cleveland. But they've been playing some pretty decent ball. And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But appreciate y'all joining us for another episode of Half Helmet Justice. Yes, Eddie Gray, Bud Dupree is there too. Sir, you are exactly right. And Nathan, he did take a lot of sacks today. So we'll see. We'll see, man. It's going to be an interesting game. Can we get number 2? Shoot, we'll talk. We get number 2, it's going to be number 2. I'm going to say number 2 next week because we finna go on that. We finna go on that run, man. I got to believe. G. I got to believe in something for that team.
All right.
Yeah, the LA Titans will be facing her. The LA Titans, that's right. Who was it before? Oh, the Ravens. The Ravens take a lot of Titans players too. So it's the Baltimore Titans and the LA Titans. So we got them this week. But thank y'all, man, for joining the show tonight. The comments, the questions, man. Again, if you have to subscribe to the YouTube channel, do so. Do so and get those notifications so you know we'll come on live. Hey down there, J. Lou.
Yes, sir.
G Witt and little bitty J. Lou in the building. Give me a tighten up, baby, before we go.
Yeah.
Tighten up.
Tighten up now.
And Atlanta Titans too. That's right, Nathan. Come on, you tighten up.
Yeah, tighten up, baby.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Join us again, man, next week. Anybody can win on any given. That's right. That's what I say, man. Everybody can win anytime. You see it. It happens all again. Vanderbilt won again this past weekend. Come
Carolina won today too.
Carolina, they beat the Saints.
Yeah.
Bryce Young.
Yep.
Played today. He started
And
won the game. Mm-hmm. Look out. Might be a turnaround for that young man too. We'll see. But anyway, thank y'all for joining us, man. Catch us next week. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff, so just look out for the information when the show come on, because we have to be adjusted because of that late kickoff. But man, again, we thank y'all, man. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us. Eddie on there, G with J. Lou. Halftime adjustments. We out of here, man.